Component placement has to be one of my least favorite parts of PCB design. Just seems needlessly tedious, especially if you just want to get a quick board out. Our in-house fab takes about 5 to 10 minutes to spit out a board, so spending over an hour just laying out seems like such a waste of time. Ideally, I would just automate the process of going from schematic to PCB, so I tried to make a tool to help with that. We're all familiar with node-based graphs and software like Obsidian, where you can just drag around nodes to rearrange them, and they get constrained by the connections they have to other nodes. I was wondering if this could work well for PCB layout, just representing the nets as edges and the components as nodes. So here we have a prototype of this. We have the different components and the nets represented as edges. And if we simulate this, we can see that they are constrained by the edges. Added some random wiggles as an attempt to simulate annealing, which basically just means trying to wiggle around stuff until it finds an optimal position in which it hopefully sticks. So if we add this over here, this should in theory eventually migrate back over to where it's needed. In practice, however, this only has limited success. You can see it's slowly working its way over there again, but this isn't really any good way of aligning components, especially since it really likes to shape it into Y-shaped things. With this optimization, all the ground pads would ideally just want to be in a triangular net, which is like the least optimal shape for routing, but it at least stays somewhat functional. So this approach is kind of a failure. But there's a secondary tool that I quite enjoy in this. These components now are scattered all around the place, both rotated and out of place. And we have an alignment tool. I hold Alt and left click, it'll rotate the components to the grid. I can then nudge them roughly where I want them. And now if I hold Alt and right click, they will be aligned to the grid. This is super useful as it quickly evens out any minor misalignments you might have. You can just roughly place components where you want them and then refine it with the grid. I'm really happy with how this tool works, both the rotation part and the grid alignment part. I wish KiCad had this, as manually moving components to grids is always a bit annoying. You get a lot of problems from where the component 0 is from, what your grid is set to, if it snaps to neighboring components or not. So having this tool that makes the placement more impermanent and easier to fix is a lot more fun and more enjoyable to use. Overall, I think the automated placement part does not really have promise, but I would like to see the alignment tool maybe make its way to KiCad at some point. You can play with this project yourself. There's a link in the description.